Hello there, everyone. Welcome. It's currently 16 past 9 on Tuesday, the 18th of June, and we're doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to be looking at Dragon Age Veilguard. In particular, I'll be looking at the trailer, and I also want to take a quick squiz at the Dragon Age Inquisition trailer, just as a comparison. I haven't seen many people compare the two of them. I think it's been about 10 years since we got Inquisition. It might just be a really good refresher, I suppose, as a way for people to get their bearings across with Veilguard and what to expect. After that, I'm going to jump into Sherlock Holmes because I'm actually really excited. I downloaded all the Sherlock Holmes games except for the new one back at a Steam sale. I'm a massive Sherlock Holmes fan. I'm a huge Arsène Lupin fan. Arsène Lupin, my pardon, however it's pronounced. And I can't wait to get into it. But first of all, let's have a look at Veilguard. Let's go and have a quick squiz. And I'll be pausing it as we go ahead just to have a chat. Now, I have seen this before. I've previewed it. Well, I haven't previewed it, but I've watched it before. All right.
Should we be in more of a hurry to get out?
So, first things first, game obviously looks great. It looks really, really good. You cannot fault the graphic fidelity on this. Just having a look here at the foliage, the water, the cobblestone street, the reflections, simply gorgeous. Really, really well done. But there was a big controversy, at least on Reddit, regarding the character models in that reveal trailer. I mean, the less we talk about the reveal trailer, the better. The problem with the character models, a lot of people had, they believed it looked very cartoonish, very blocky, much like World of Warcraft. And I have to agree. But with this gameplay reveal, I think it's really, hopefully proven that it's not as bad as that. I do think it's very cartoonish, and we're going to get into that when we watch the gameplay reveal way back when for E3. What are we now? 2024? I guess it was 2016 for E3. 2016, 2015 for Inquisition. But anyway, we'll continue on. So far, beautiful. Looks really good. Again, very good, very smooth. The only thing you could say about the character model, particularly the player-created character, is generic looking. It's very generic. There's nothing all that impressive. If we pause it right here and we have a quick look at the NPCs here, you know, if they're just passing by, they don't expect you to stop and have a look. This is more than likely going to be the very first mission of the game. And yeah, look, nothing to write home about. These two people here probably look very much at home in the PS2, PS3 era. We are now on the PS5, obviously, Xbox Series X, etc. Soon we're going to be getting probably the 50 series graphics card chips. So is this a bit of a letdown? Yes. Ultimately, nothing too bad. I do think the character models look very sterile. I don't think there's anything particularly... Oh.
Oh crap! We're too late.
I don't think there's anything impressive about them. To be fair, I really don't.
Let's go. Harding's this way. She'll get us to Dumont Plaza. Watch out!
Demon looks pretty good. Do have a few things to say about the demons that we fight, we see the player character fight at the end of the video, but these ones, whatever these ones are, they're pretty cool. Can't tell if they're pride. I don't think they're pride demons, but so right here, let's pause this. Let's go back a little bit. That was a bad place to pause it. Okay, so I have a big thing with these demons. I don't think they look good, and I think these are left over from Veilguard's live service days. So in particular, these little plastic spiky things here, to me they remind me of a McDonald's toy you get at you get a Happy Meal, or just a toy in general. They look like they were designed for multiple players in a live service game, so we can know what type of element the demon is associated with, and therefore what its weakness is. They look very static and they look stuck on. They don't look like some gnarly spikes or even energy, lightning, thunder coming off them. They just look like they're stuck on. It becomes more apparent towards the end of the trailer. But for now, I just wanted to point that out because it's a huge thing for me. It's something that I noticed. As well as that, the enemy doesn't look very unique. It's very stale and very sterile. Same with the character design and the voice acting of the player character. We'll get into that a little bit as well, but we'll continue on.
Not like this. Come on, this way. It should get us to Harding.
Again, really beautiful. Looks fantastic. Really looks good. And we get our first taste of combat.
Get inside and bar the door as quick as you can, okay?
Thank you, miss.
Harding, you all right?
I've been doing what I can to help. The ritual must be weakening the veil. There are a lot of scared people out here.
Definitely has that cartoony vibe. Definitely has that cartoony feel to it. Varric looks alright. Harding looks very... They look very plasticky.
You okay?
They look like the same toys that belong with the demon in the McDonald's meal. This character dialogue,
We're good. But
I absolutely hate it.
Agreed.
I think it's terrible. I really think it's bad. I just think that it's too cartoony. I don't know why you need to have little pictures to tell people like, oh, this decision is going to make this person angry, or this is being very tough and this is being very compassionate. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's almost as if it's baby's first dialogue wheel, which is a shame. Because Dragon Age is a series that takes itself very seriously. It's not a game that you would play if you've never played an RPG before. It's certainly not a game that you would consider to be for your introduction. It's usually has a very dark fantasy story. Naturally, we're going to bring up Dragon Age Origins, but for now, we'll continue on. But we're going to leave it at that. That dialogue wheel, absolutely terrible. These demons also shit.
Here they come.
Like, they are as generic as you can get it. Really bad. Just really, really bad design. It's just so bland. So I'll pause this. First taste in combat. So when we go and play the Dragon Age Inquisition gameplay reveal trailer, what we're going to see are two big differences. Here we do not see the health of Harding or Varric, which, look, again, this is the first mission. I get it. You really don't have a lot of freedom as the player. It's the first thing you're going to see when you jump into the game. You're being introduced to the mechanics. We got 3 gold, or total of 6, so that's really exciting. So I don't expect us to see the health of the player, but so sorry, you're gonna hear a few noises in the background. I am watching keeping a track of my newborn as we're doing this, so I'm hearing out for the cries. Back into the combat. I don't expect to see it, but there's one thing the Inquisition trailer does really well, is it sets up the potential for the player, what we can expect in a mid-game run. Veilguard, or the Veilguard, doesn't do that. It shows us what we can expect as a new player, so what our introduction to combat is, which is a disservice to the game because the combat looks boring, it looks generic. We've already lost the ability to see what the health of our other characters are, and therefore we can assume that we will not be able to control the other characters, and that becomes apparent when we have a look at the action wheel, the ability wheel later on. So for an introduction to combat, it's terrible. Not to mention, of all the classes to choose, a rogue is not the best. It's rogues. I've got nothing against playing as a rogue. I'm sure they're a lot of fun. It's not usually my choice. I'm usually like a spell sword or even just a mage in general. Rogues are quick. They're very light on their feet, which we can see. Their abilities aren't flashy. This was the chance to show off a really cool character build. You could show something off that's like either a berserker would be great, or a spell sword, or a mage, you know. But we chose a rogue with a very poor ability, with generic action combat, fighting bland characters that, again, seem to be left over from a live service game. All right, I'm enough chatting for now. We'll get going.
I think that's the last of them.
Good. Let's get to Dumont Plaza and find Nev. Patch yourselves up if you need it.
So the big health potion in a jar, like bright green, it's meant to stand out. It's meant to be there so every player, again, when this was a live service, so all players know that's health. You know, in the context of a video game world, so in this world, why would that jar be green? Why would it not just be a normal jar that you happen to smash open and you get a health potion? It would not be green. So it's these small elements that make me nervous for this game.
Venatory cultists!
I hate these assholes.
Why are the cultists here? Is there something that's going to be given context when we actually get to play the game? I mean, they don't seem particularly surprised that they're here, so I'm assuming that we run into them at an earlier point. But, you know, the characters react like it's just, oh, they're here. So, anyway, small devils in the details. And I think the details are eating, so far, the gameplay alive. Now, the Veilguard is meant to release in spring. So, I am Australian. I am living in Australia. When I refer to the seasons, I'm going to refer to them as the Australian season, the Southern Hemisphere. So I think that makes it autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, United States, for example. So spring over here. So I think it's releasing spring, probably October, November. The launch price from memory in Australia is $110. So would I spend $110? Like, here's our first look at the wheel. So I think down below here, there has been some later game footage where you can see the full wheel completed for your companions and for us as Rook. So we get 3 abilities. Our companions' pictures will go there, and they also get 3 abilities. From Inquisition, from memory, when we go back, we see that I do think it's 3 abilities as well, but we get to switch between the characters. Slight difference. Very cartoony. Very cartoony. The character models look cartoony-ish to a certain point. We are playing a video game. We're not expecting realistic, photorealistic graphics. Ghost of Tsushima level type stuff. This is very, very cartoony. And again, when we're talking about the world of Dragon Age, it's a bit weird. Tally-ho. Okay, so this is a section in Mithrathis that these cultists own. You don't think the... hopefully there's a world explanation for why the government, the wizards not in Mithrathis want to get rid of them. I guess they pay their taxes. And that's really good for them. That's great. Again, big green jar out in the open so multiple players can see. Doesn't make sense in a action, in a RPG space, single player RPG space.
Alright, hiding. Not the worst timing.
Nev, it's so good to see you. We thought the Venatori had kidnapped you.
They thought the same thing. A lot of Venatori in the city have reason to hate me. Figured I'd play along. Find out who wanted to settle the score this time. Then the sky started raining demons. So I'm back on the job.
That fire
Appreciate
looks...
it. Rook, this is Nev Dallas, our local
That was
expert.
terrible. That was
She's
really
gonna help
bad.
us find solace. Nev, meet Rook. Both of you have done some work for the Shadow Dragons.
Isn't that a coincidence?
Some old friend said if I was working in Tevinter, the Shadow Dragons are worth trusting.
We haven't got a lot of time. Varric said you had a lead on Solus?
You get right to the point. I haven't seen Solus in person, but I did find hints of old magic, similar to what you get in Elven ruins.
I suppose one big thing while this whole dialogue is going on, it's really important to remember that this isn't the same BioWare that made Origins, and BioWare as a company isn't the same company, and the gaming landscape, at least according to EA, the publisher, isn't the same. It's changed. It's completely shifted, with one big exception, particularly when we're talking about the RPG space, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not saying this game needed to be Baldur's Gate 3, whether it's a turn-based or top-down or anything like that, but what Baldur's Gate 3 showed to RPG fans and video game enthusiasts alike is that there is still that what people want is a densely packed, feature-complete RPG where you can role-play, and your decisions when you're role-playing matter. You see them happen in real time, you see them affect the world around you. That's what Dragon Age Origins got right. Party members would leave. They would die if you made the wrong choice, or simply if they disagreed with you. The world would shift with your decisions. Dragon Age 2
The tremors are getting worse.
buggered that up entirely. It went for this mission-based design where you'd be sent to the same sandy beach over and over again and play. So right there, different elemental affinities. So I guess he's weak to... He's got thunder, I suppose, or he's got a shield or something. Again, you can see the remnants of live service multiplayer games scattered throughout this video. It's, you know, obviously it's not completely removed, otherwise that would mean rebooting the entire game. They probably scrapped it down to the bare bones and then just reconstructed it from there. Anyway, Dragon Age 2, terrible, terrible game. Inquisition clawed a little bit back. We got a little bit back with Inquisition. Nothing crazy. Oh, we got something. The decision making though was really haphazard. You played you had a keep. You were basically a king, sort of, the manner of speaking. You cast judgment on certain situations, and what your judgments did would affect your companion affinity, etc. It didn't happen organically like it did in Origins or Baldur's Gate 3. Now, the Veilguard has been confirmed that it's going to be mission based, so we're losing that open world RPG aspect of it all. We're also losing the heart of Dragon Age, I think. So, anyway, completely lost my train of thought when this Pride Demon rocks up. Now, we're going to see Pride Demons when we look at the Inquisition trailer. For me, this isn't my Pride Demon. This is terrible. A Pride Demons are these gnarly looking Hulk meet Doomsday type creature with these spikes coming off them. Not these little shuttery worms sticking out of him, these brightly colored worms, like he's just stepped out of a rave. Like, why is this? This isn't... Anyway, I suppose the biggest reason why, whenever you speak of Dragon Age, a lot of people are always going to bring up Origins. They're always going to be bringing up Origins. And the simple reason is, just like Baldur's Gate 3, it was a feature-complete, densely packed RPG where your decisions mattered. They really mattered. It told a great story, had a great cast of characters, and it felt like a really good game. It introduced a lot of people to the dark fantasy RPG space, myself included. I could play it in real time, almost as an action game, or I could play it turn-based. It was up to me. This was BioWare at its prime, when you had Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect. This was BioWare at the top of their game. And what we're seeing here is a BioWare that is just a post-Anthem, post-Andromeda BioWare that I think doesn't know what it wants to do anymore. Obviously EA is there, mandating things in the background. I'm surprised EA was allowed them to reboot the game after its live service model leaked. So, is it entirely EA's fault? Maybe, maybe not. I'm actually starting to think it's not, but anyway, that's a theory for another day.
Good enough. Let's get to Solus.
So we finally get to meet Solus, the big bad guy, the Dread Wolf. Get a hero shot of the player character. Not really deserved, I must admit, but anyway. So now we get green element enemies, which is fantastic. Naturally, this is a pre-rendered cutscene.
Are you sure?
Positive. You three just keep the demons off me while I talk to him.
Varric, Solus isn't gonna stop just because an old friend asks nicely.
Solus needs someone to sell him another option.
It's got this weird filter on it, so it just means like this soft glow. It's almost like I'm watching an American soap opera. It's very strange. And you got this really nice, you look at the textures on the clothing, and then you look up to the face, and there's something missing. I think this is what's causing a lot of people to think that it's very cartoonish, is that they don't add up. They're mismatched, whatever the case may be. They seem off. It's like we're looking at two, like the facial models haven't rendered in correctly. But anyway, we'll see where we go. Yep, we meet Solus. Cool, very cool.
Hey, Chuckles. Hope I'm not interrupting.
Let's buy him some time.
More combat, very stale, very sterile, nothing to write home about. Like, you've seen this combat in 100 other games, really.
We can't hold these demons off forever.
Is a wound inflicted upon this world. It must be healed.
By drowning the world in demons?
I have taken precautions to minimize the damage, Varric.
Minimize the... People are dying right now. You need to listen. Please.
Here we get into the next big contentious issue with the villain. I have a theory. That we will join forces with Solus. I know it's controversial, but hear me out. At the end of the video, we see two beings come out of the veil. I thought one of them could be Hawk. Hawk was the character you played as in Dragon Age 2 and who jumped into the Abyss or the Veil, I don't quite remember, in Inquisition. So spoilers for that game, too bad. They could be other gods. Now this is called, the game obviously called the Veilguard. Now is that going to be us? Similar to Inquisition, we play as the Veilguard, protecting the Veil, so to speak. Or is that what the two beings are? The two beings are the Veilguard, who we then have to take on. Now I'm assuming these people are people that Solus maybe fears, or he doesn't want to encounter. Maybe they're after the Dreadwolf. They might be more powerful than Solus, so naturally we are going to join forces with him at some point. That's my theory. Evidence for this, very minimal, as I just said, but again, this is still mission 1 in the game. This is very early on. We only have our one ability. We still don't have a second ability. We still don't see the health of our other characters. More importantly, we don't see the abilities of the other characters. And yet, we have managed to stop a elven god from completing a ritual. How we stop that is also very controversial, but this is a big penultimate. This feels like a mid-game or end of Act 2. You know, suddenly we're facing a crisis. The veil is torn open, and yet this is our opening hour. So what threat is there to us when we can... Here we go. We're taking down this massive old statue that's been held up by these pieces of wood. What I don't get is, if he is the main villain of this game, how come we can destroy his plans this early on? If he was the main villain, if he was Thanos, the game should be leading up to his final spell, his final ritual, and yet the game opens with his ritual. That's my theory, but anyway, we'll see how that turns out. I still think I'm right, but you know, we'll see where it goes. Okay, yep, and it comes tumbling down. Somehow that destroys his spell. That's great, like fucking dominoes. Okay, definitely not Hawk. But yeah. So just before they popped up, Solus looked concerned. So I don't think these are people that Solus wants to see. Again, I don't think he is going to be the main villain of the game. I think Solus is going to join us. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Anyway, that's the gameplay reveal from Veilguard. What we're going to do is we're going to switch over now, and we're actually going to check out the gameplay reveal for Inquisition. And we're going to compare the two. So,
video. My name is Mike Laidlaw. I'm the creative director for Dragon Age Inquisition. And today, we're going to show you...
So this was presented at E3...
Real-time and tactical combat.
Where are we looking? E3 9 years ago. So E3, what's that? 2015? So straight up. Naturally, the Veilguard looks really, really good. It looks fantastic. But when we're talking about art style and art direction, I prefer Inquisition. And there's not too much more of a difference. They look, if anything, they look similar. You could show me this footage right now as gameplay that's coming out for a game this year, and I'd believe you. I would 100% believe you. I don't think this, I would be like, yeah, that's fair. That looks like a game that will come out this generation. So anyway, we'll continue watching.
Combinations at E3. For this demo, we want to go with the fan favorite and play the female Qunari mage.
So we are playing as a mage in this, so naturally as a mage we're a lot more static. We're not going to be as flashy with the movements, but I think it does show off more of what you can expect. So, looks gorgeous. I'd actually really like to play through Inquisition again. It really looks like it holds up.
Inquisition is built of a series of multiple regions, allowing you to travel from blistering deserts to demon-infested swamps over the course of your adventures.
Templar bastards killed my husband and stole the ring from his finger.
They deserve to die.
If we go back and have a look at the NPC, so let's pause this right here. Let's go back and have a look at the NPC from the start of the game. It was around about... Here we go, we're getting closer. So this is the start of Veilguard. That's our NPCs in 2024. This is our NPC in 2015. This looks better. A 9-year gap, and this game looks better. Like, naturally, you can see these artifacts here, they look a little bit stuck on, you know, when you go up close to Skyrim's flowers and you realize that they're just JPEGs, but Inquisition looks gorgeous.
You visit is part of the larger story and is a space you can impact with your actions. Rather than just tell you that the Mage and Templar conflict is a threat, we wanted to make sure that you were a part of it.
Okay, combat. So, let's look at combat. First and foremost, party of 4. Now, we know that Veilguard, the Veilguard, is going to have 3 people in our parties, ourselves and 2 companions. We have our abilities down here, 4 abilities. Pardon me. With the right bumper being the Inquisition's power, which we get from touching the veil. So it's a special type of power only for us. Other than that, 3 normal abilities matching our class. 4 abilities in total, so that's pretty cool. Character portraits, fantastic. I love it. They look great. I'm pretty sure this one up here is Nev, who is in the Veilguard, who we saw at the very start of this gameplay demo with the little horns coming out of her, the dress. So straight away we're seeing a huge difference. Also, the UI is quite minimal. You got the combat encounter here, very sleek, not too bad. Health up there, not taking up a huge amount of space. Looks good. Again, looks very good. Compared to Veilguard, we have damage numbers. I don't remember seeing that in the Veilguard.
With Inquisition, we wanted to go beyond random encounters.
So we just saw then that we're level 7. So again, if you haven't played Inquisition before, I believe you may have said this at the start of the demo, not quite sure, but Inquisition, this demo right here, this area, is about 4 to 5 hours into the game. So you're already level 7. You're going to see a battle. I have watched this previously. I've played through the whole game anyway. But you are going to see a battle with a dragon coming up soon. That battle was a pain in the fucking ass, if I'm going to say you. I remember dying to that thing so many times. But it's a much better representation of what you want from a gameplay demo, I believe, because as a player, when I'm watching a gameplay demo, I want to see what I'm capable of doing. I want to see that. It teases me, you know. This is how you hype a game. You show the player the potential. You don't show the player basic stuff. Again, the reason why they did that in the Veilguard, and I'm going to test my theory, is that because if they show anything else, it's going to be a huge story spoiler, because we're going to see that Solus isn't the main villain. Of course, you could always do what Dragon Age Inquisition is doing, and you just show a random bit of area where you're just doing some side content, taking on a village. You don't show the main critical part, but that's too easy. So, again, I'm actually blown away with how this game looks compared to the Veilguard. I actually think this, I'm going to go out and say it, I kind of think this looks better. Different art direction. Naturally, the lighting in Veilguard's better, you know, RTX is on, whatever the case may be. The fire looks better in Dragon Age Inquisition, so they're 9 years on and fire looks worse. But this game looks good. It looks really good. And I go back and you have a look at Veilguard. So let's have a look at Veilguard. Again, art style, very realistic, going for that realism. here's Veilguard. So let's have a look at a forest in Veilguard where we come through. Where is it? We're talking. We're coming through around about. We're here. Oh, we've just come through. So, all right. Misremembering. Definitely looks a bit better. Higher quality stuff. But combat is just... That's where we fight the Pride Demon. Look at this. Look at the amount of screen space this takes up. This is huge. Now look at this in Inquisition. Tiny.
Against your foes, and so we can take a closer look at what's happening here using our tactical view.
And then we have tactic mode. Now, as far as I'm aware, tactician mode is not going to be present in the Veilguard. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, but I do think they said that it's not going to be present. They expressed that they're going to have deep RPG mechanics, which, what does that mean? That could mean a whole bunch of things, from having a huge amount of options to weapons and clothing to spells. And here we go. We can take control of a character, another character. We're playing as the archer. Forget the character's name. Again, we have access to their abilities. So it's a real shame, actually. Going back and watching this in full, I skipped through this prior to doing this stream. It's a real shame, I think, what Veilguard and the direction Veilguard has gone in. Again, prior to this, it was a live service game, so that's got to account for something.
You must be the leader of leaders. Iron Bull, who we see in our party, is a commander of his own mercenary.
Right, we've watched enough of this. Let's just skip through to the dragon battle that I know is coming up. So we'll skip through. Here's our weapons and armor menu.
Here we'll switch
not too bad. If I'm being honest,
we looted earlier while we were exploring.
It's character models, again, look better in this game. Clothing, it's fine, it's fine. We'll go through here. Here's our big dragon battle. Somewhere here, we got some dragonlings coming up. Here we go, big boy. Look at that fire effect, that looks great. So I'm going to let this play out, but I think I've made my point when comparing these two. So naturally, a huge leap in graphic fidelity. Art style for Inquisition is my personal choice. I don't like the cartoony look of the Veilguard. Is it serviceable? It's fine. It reminds me a lot of Hogwarts Legacy. It's this very 2024... this type of generation of AAA developed art style. It's fine. There's a lot to be shown. Naturally, we've only seen a little bit of gameplay at the moment. BioWare can certainly win Dragon Age fans over, and for me, I'm going to need to see a lot more. I don't think I'll be playing this game at launch. Part of me really wants to, because I love the series. But I have a lot of apprehension for the Veilguard. I really do. I don't think it's going to do the Dragon Age series any justice, and I think we have a little bit of history repeating with Dragon Age 2 and how that sort of tainted the series for a lot of people. But anyway, I think we're going to leave that right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly boot up Sherlock Holmes Nemesis, a game I am very excited to play. I've never played a Sherlock Holmes game before, despite being a big fan, but enough of that. So I will see you in a little bit.